Nicole. I'm a graphic designer. I graduated from BCU 2 years ago in 2019. I think the first thing that came up to me was the bull, and it was interesting because it's a huge statue that everyone adores, and he gets dressed up. So I thought that was the fun part. One time I saw him dress up as Sherlock Holmes. I think it was a movie promotion, but it was really nice that they actually tailored it to him with the waistcoat and everything. So I think that's just my fun part, something fun and quirky.
I used to make all my stuff by hand, using monoprinting, a bit screen printing when I had the chance, but you don't really have much chance. So I come from an editorial illustration background, and in that you learn speed and making things fast, responding to a brief, editing it really quickly, all that kind of stuff. So through the need of that, I then got much more into making all my work digitally and doing this kind of thing like handmade digital, where you replicate the effect of handmade stuff. I mean, you can see it through a lot of the other artwork here as well, but it's all digital. Yeah, so you bring in loads like textures made by hand, rolling ink, bring that into something that's quite flat and ugly when you see it on the computer screen, and just a few things like that just kind of lifts it and makes it feel human, basically, like it's made by a person rather than a computer.
My name's Farah Girach. I'm now going into my third year at BCU. I do a lot of pattern play, and I wanted to do something with the landmarks of Birmingham. So this is inspired by some of the well-known buildings in Birmingham, including like some of the stuff I've seen in Digbeth, street art, and also a big inspiration is the Birmingham Library with the rings and stuff, so you can see the circles. I use Procreate mainly because I do a lot of freehand stuff, so that's easier for me.
My name's Millie and I work for Folk Like These. Well, me and my husband are the founders, and we run a cafe and art space in Birmingham and Moseley. The brief was the creative city, and as creatives in Birmingham, I like to think about, where people work, and that it's not kind of always a straightforward commute that you might take, but that everyone's kind of processing this idea at the same time. My husband's a big skateboarder, and so I like to draw inspiration from that sometimes. So I kind of was thinking about everyone carrying their kind of metaphorical pencils to be creative. For this brief it was easier for me to work digitally, but I'm a printmaker by trade, that's what I trained in. And so sometimes I'll work in print and sometimes it'll be just digital, but always starting with a drawing.
My name's Sola. I'm an illustrator. I also work in the design industry for a design firm that does entertainment-based design, video games, music, stuff like that. So that's generally what I do, but I also do a lot of artwork on canvas, street art around Birmingham as well. So I decided to use a big figure of Birmingham, which is Ozzy Osbourne from Black Sabbath. And it was a little bit of a juxtaposition from him being sort of known as the Prince of Darkness, contrasted by sort of bursting with colour in terms of creativity, in the music industry. So that's pretty much the bones of where the idea came from. I've worked and explored loads of different mediums. I've done acrylic painting, I've done sort of black and white, inky sort of comic style illustration. I've done a lot of vector graphics and digitally and stuff like that. So the work that I've got going now is a culmination of all the sort of aesthetics that I've kind of like preferred over the years of working, and I'm kind of putting them into a boiling pot, which has got to where I am. A lot of the mark making I do is based around sort of futuristic architectural design work, things like that. So that's kind of an inspiration as to how I make the marks and the line work.
I really love mixing monoprinting with lino cutting and then also painting and drawing and collage. So I pull a load of that together. I do a load of monoprinting and I like to make textures and then cut those out and then use those as a reference for something else. Constantly being blown away about how unique and creative people can be. I love seeing something where I go, man, I'd never have seen it that way. I'd never have thought about it that way. I mean, even today, looking at some of the pieces, you know, like one of my favourites is, I'm going to call it the Floozy of the jacuzzi, as it's affectionately known. But just like the statue in Victoria Square, that he's represented in a completely different way. And again, it's been beautifully done. And I just looked at it and just thought, I'd never have thought of that. And that's what I find awesome, is when somebody does something that's surprising and, you know, amazing.